This past year, my wife and I went on 3 cruises. The first in June was to Norway. The second in August was to the Baltic Sea, and the third in November was a transatlantic cruise from Rome to Florida. The Norway cruise started in Southampton, England. The medieval walled part of Southampton near the port is quite compact and can be visited in a couple of hours. As we left Southampton, we passed by someone's small beach house. After a couple of days at sea, we stopped into Haugesund, our first port in Norway. Some of the locals came out to meet us. Skjolden was our next stop. I climbed up about 1,000 meters to a lookout for a view of the fjord. Olden was the next port. We took a local excursion out into the countryside. It was a very beautiful place. Trondheim is a very colorful town. I really noticed how bright and colorful buildings are in Norway, probably because half the year is spent in darkness. Königsvag was as far north as the ship went, 71 degrees north latitude, which is 5 degrees above the Arctic Circle. Here, the sun never set. As we were getting back on board, we watched a lady go snorkeling, and we thought Canadians are tough. After a long walk into Gravdal, I visited Busnes Church, which was built in 1905 in the Art Nouveau style. Ålesund has an amazing look-off. Our ship is just to the left in the photo. Once a center of the Hanseatic League trading empire, Bergen was our last stop in Norway. This metal Norwegian bids us hot det, which is goodbye in Norwegian. Our August cruise took us from Southampton to the Baltic Sea. The first stop was Copenhagen, Denmark. The photo on the left was taken this past summer. The photo on the right was from a previous visit I made to Copenhagen. This is the new harbor in Copenhagen. Again, you can see lots of colors. Hans Christian Andersen looks towards Tivoli Gardens across the road. Or maybe he was wondering what drugs the architect who designed this building was on. Skagen, a town on the tip of the Jutland Peninsula, is a summer resort for many Danish and other people. Can you guess what this is? If you said a lighthouse, you are correct. Next up, we go to Sweden. Malmö, located just across the strait from Copenhagen, was having a summer festival. One of the prettiest and best preserved medieval towns in Scandinavia is Visby on the island of Gotland. A former Hanseatic League town and Viking town, it is replete with high stone ring walls, narrow cobblestone streets, beautiful ruins, and colorful houses. As we sailed into Stockholm, we passed by many small islands that reminded me of the Thousand Islands in the St. Lawrence. And the fountain on the edge of Stockholm reminded me to get rid of the coffee I drank before heading into town. The old part of Stockholm, called the Gamla Stan, occupies one of the 14 islands that comprise the city. We spent most of a day wandering around its old cobblestone streets. The architecture of the buildings, statues, the Royal Palace, Nobel Prize Museum, and churches were the highlights we visited. Stockholm's resident Viking poses for photos with visitors. The Royal Palace has built-in flush toilets. Some of the eccentric sights and establishment names stood out on our bus ride back to the ship. Helsinki, Finland was for us a bit of a disappointment. The architecture certainly reflects that it was a former part of Russia, being made Finland's capital in 1812 by Tsar Alexander II. Helsinki Cathedral, built on a man-made hill, dominates the main square. The former train station has been converted into shops, cafes, and boutiques. I even found one named after me. The statue of Tsar Alexander II sits in the middle of the square below the cathedral. This statue, called Havas Amanda, according to rumor, is the sculptor's mistress. When it was first erected, many, including the town council, criticized it as erotic and inappropriate, and it is said Havas Amanda gets the last laugh as her backside faces the town council. Tallinn, Estonia, is an amazing city. A medieval walled city, Tallinn Old Town is a UNESCO World Heritage Site. Previously known as Reval when it was Danish, Tallinn, the Estonian word for Danish castle, became its name in 1918. Tallinn is a beautiful city with a lower and upper part. The large square is in Lower Town, and the Russian Orthodox Church is in Upper Town. Formerly part of the Soviet Union, today Estonians are not very fond of their former occupiers. The Russian embassy had a multitude of signs, flags, and downright slurs that demonstrate how they feel about their former Russian occupiers. A steep cobblestone passageway, marked by a tower to Upper Town, used to have a gate located in it. Lower Town residents were not allowed to visit Upper Town in days past. I particularly liked many of the doors I saw as I roamed around Tallinn. Speaking of doors, this slide closes the door on this short visit to Scandinavia and the Baltic. The third cruise I mentioned in the opening of the show was a transatlantic positioning cruise from Rome to Florida, but that one is part of a sequel to come later.